go get ourselves a sprayer. Oh yeah. That's my first piece of equipment I've actually bought at an auction myself. I know it was an online auction, but it's kind of fun. Might have to do that more often. All right, let's drive. Made it, one piece, didn't run anybody off the road, that's good. 2-lane road, but it's got big shoulders, like leg arms. Truck's almost ready, so what I'm gonna do is, I got this one heavy duty ramp, center wheel's gonna drive up there, then it's gonna gently drive across this massive log here, which is braced by another log, and then when it gets up to the edge here, I'm gonna take the ramp, flip it sideways, land on top of those 2 big I-beams that run down the center, ratchet strap the center wheel of that machine over there to it. Then my theory is it's gonna slide down those on top of this aluminum ramp, and then when the rear wheels get close, I'll pull the main ramps out, which is right there, and right there, set them down. They'll drive up on, and then I'll rest the rear axle right behind this rear trailer axle, and the front will stay up there, and then I'm gonna grab the chains and all the straps and everything and get that thing really tight to the frame on that and hit the road. Let's take a look at our prize. She's on. That is down tight. And as we say here, boom it down. I know that's not the correct lingo for a lot of people, but booming, that's just what we say around these parts. So we boomed it down. I boomed it down. It's boomed down. Axle's solid to the frame. Front steer tire axle solid to the frame. She's ready to roll. Overload signs are on. Beacon's gonna turn on in a second. Let's hit the road, guys. We're under limit. Let's roll. Made it. Took the front chain off the front wheel. Just gotta take the ones off the back, and then walk this thing off, and then park it till we get a chance to work on it. But that thing runs really good. Like, I'm gonna go take it down the road once I get it off and see how the transmission shifts. But that engine, no smoke at all, clean, clean. And for 7,500 hours, it makes me think that there's been some engine work done to it. So it might be a pretty solid frame for something fun down the road. We'll have to figure that out. Oh, it's hot. I'm not used to this. It's the first week of June and we're at 95 degrees. Why? I'm sure it'll change. If I was at the lake, it'd be okay. But I need a tractor. I don't know if you look closely over here. That's our windbreak, we call it. It's a windrow, a hedgerow. Its design is to give you a little bit of privacy as well as block the obnoxious wind, but you gotta plow between them, otherwise everything grows. And then it sucks the water that the trees and bushes need. And usually we plow it every year, and well, we're just short on tractors. Magnum's down, big buds are too big to go down there. So I think this is gonna be the girl, unless. No, Nick, no, I used up all the demo hours. They will know if I turn it on, and they will know how many hours are on it. Even though it will fit down that hedgerow just fine. Might get a couple scratches, but I'll be good. We'll just leave it there. I guess it's still here on the farm. I think they're trying to tell us something. But I've heard there's plans for it to go somewhere and let someone else enjoy it as much as we have. That's good though. Old iron's fun every now and then too. So, this windbreak has been here for a good 40 years. My parents planted this. These are Carrageenas on either side of me. Amazing bush. You can grow in about a desert. All the other stuff that they've grown, attempted to grow here, died. There's only 2 species in this windbreak out of probably 20 that they planted that made it. All these old bushes, used to be rows here, gone, nothing there. One problem is they started plowing where the dead trees were, which then prevents any new growth from being able to take root there. So I just stay in the lines, give it a chance to at least grow some new growth. But chokecherry bushes, Carrageenas. Those 2 will grow just about anywhere because they can grow up here in Montana, where some years you get basically no rain. Look at those poor things. Hardly a chance. I don't know how you green guys do it. I almost lost the tractor in here. Red one would have been easy to find. Shop's a little nicer. Now with spray season just around the corner, it's always spray season. In-crop spray season, that means we're gonna spray the crops, not spray the ground before the crops go in. Been wanting to slowly fix some issues with this Apache AS1010, and these pins are one of the big problems. They're wearing out. The boom is hanging down further than it should. I've got 2 really nice, brand new, shiny, very expensive chunks of pipe with a flat end on them, the pins. They're gonna go in place of the old ones. Man, they were expensive for just a pipe. But we could have made them ourselves, but we're like, well, maybe it's a hardened steel, wear resistant. We'll buy it, you know, because maybe it'll save us hassle down the road. So we paid the money. But I went ahead and tapped this one a few times. It is going up. This pin goes through the entire arm here, the boom. Right now the boom is cradled on the sprayer, but I'm thinking, just looking at this, looks like more of the weight is on that end. So I'm gonna take the scissor lift, drive it all the way around over here, put it up to the top on that edge right there, cradle this whole boom, just kind of hang it there, start pounding this pipe up, the pin, and see what this does. My hope, because it's got a cylinder attached here as well, I guess that's the only place technically it's gonna be holding it. I'm hoping I can just push that pin up and drop the new one in. I'm afraid there's gonna be more issues than that. But we have a crane above us right now, so if for some reason I gotta hook the crane to it to lift and drop and whatever, we've got that option too. So, no time like the present. Let's see if we can put them in. Need something to stand on. Hey! Defender will work just great. A little overkill, but every tool in the toolbox is fair game if you're on this farm. Gotta use everything you got to get the job done. I wonder if I can take some pressure off the scissor lift. You know, pin itself doesn't look terrible. We'll know more when we get it there, but something's wore, especially the other side. Just to be safe, I'm gonna attach the electric winch here to this boom. And that way, I'll put a little bit of tension on it just in case something comes apart. We'll make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Tighten this back up. Now, doesn't look that wore, honestly, but it's interesting. You know, I was expecting the pin to have a lot more wear in the center, but it's not. The center's fine. That's where the grease goes. When you grease this thing, it greases the center housing of this, I guess, the outer diameter pipe, whatever you want to call that, the sleeve. And the greasable joint you think would be these up here, but they don't have any place to grease them. But that's where it's been spinning. It's been spinning on the non-greasable spot, and the greased spot, it's solid, so that's where it's wearing, unfortunately. A little bit on that, but it's these collars up here, and that you can't replace. That's part of the frame. I'd hate to put $580 worth of pins in this thing when the original pins weren't that bad. There we go. Got it. So I went ahead and chained the boom to the main frame. So that way, if it did move, it's only gonna go so far. It's also attached to the crane, as well as cradled, as well as scissor lift holding it, and it only moved like a ½ inch. So we can easily jockey that around and get the new one in. If that's what we choose to do. Looking at this though, it just isn't that wore. I mean, I'm sure there's wear here that I don't see, but why is it wearing there when it should be slipping on the greased side? Not that, and that really should have a greaser to be able to grease that joint, because obviously that's where the twisting takes place and where it's wearing it. Maybe the newer ones have been improved on this area. I don't know, maybe we just haven't been greasing properly. Well, I just say put the new one in. I'm gonna grind an edge on here, like a beveled edge, and that way it'll hopefully kind of punch through that bottom sleeve. This is not a critical part because that hangs down below. It doesn't touch anything, so I can grind on that all day. It won't matter anything with the structure or integrity of this pin. I just can't take it back now. Unless I paint with some black paint on it, maybe that'll take it back. It'll work, let's grind on it. Okay, let this thing down. Doesn't need to be way up here. Once again, every tool in the toolbox. All right, one down, one to go. I'm quitting for the day. Here it is, the mighty Terragator. These things have terrorized farm grounds all across the nation. Isn't that thing just crazy looking? I love it. These are the same size tires that are on our Series 1 Big Bud. They used to be really big tires when we were kids. They were the big tires. They still look big, they're nice flotation, but compared to what's out there now, like the 1400 LSWs, little baby tires. But look at this thing. That tank is really nice. It's really nice. It's got a 3-inch threaded bung in it, so we can adapt it to our pumps, which is great. Don't have to worry about trying to cut and weld it. We're gonna have to take the whole frame, the cradle that tank is on, to put on Big Brute, but we'll know as we get it there. As of right now, we're not gonna dive into that yet. The booms, there's some goodies on here we can probably salvage, like some of these nozzle bodies. We can use those on some of our sprayers, but the actual structure, we'll probably just chop it up. There's some good square tubing on there, but this thing's not gonna spray on this farm. It's not gonna spray on this farm anytime soon. The thing is, this thing was supposed to have a bad rear end. In the listing, and I didn't even look at the listing, I just bought it because I wanted the tank. The listing said rear end was bad. And I don't know what they're talking about because it doesn't make any noise and it drives great. Which brings me to the point, do you guys want to run it? Let's go drive it. It's fun. This thing starts really good. Starts right up. Got a gas pedal on the floor. Let's go. Now this has a 3208 Caterpillar engine mated up with some type of Allison transmission. I don't know what it is. I don't know how many speeds it is. I think it's a four speed, but it's got 1, 2, 3 in drive, so that would be a 4-speed, right? So let's see how well she goes down the road. We expect a little bit of hop with these tires. Well, that was a little more stable than I thought it would be. Thing runs pretty good. When you get those booms off there, the tank off there, that thing's gonna be light. Perfect for jumping irrigation canals.
Dukes of Hazzard style.
Or rock lines.
But it's called Toole County style.
Or we just won't do anything silly like that because we've got kids and we don't be dumb. Be safe. It's okay to spin a Brody every now and then in the field. Well, it might be a little while before we get to the pulling that tank off that thing, but just know it's gonna happen. And when it does, it's gonna be nice. And what we do with that thing, I don't know, let me know, comments below.